Tired of struggling? Surrender to God and find true peace. Glowing star, have you ever wondered if it's truly possible to find peace amidst the constant battles of life? Every day, we are bombarded with new challenges, responsibilities, and worries that seem to stack up endlessly. The harder we try to fix everything on our own, the more we find ourselves drowning in stress and uncertainty. No matter how much effort we put in, the deep sense of peace remains just out of reach. But here's the truth: God never intended for us to carry these burdens alone. There is a kind of peace that is deeper, stronger, and unshakable, and it is available to you today. If you're willing to surrender everything into His hands, you will experience the kind of peace that no situation, no hardship, and no fear can take away. In this message, I want to share a truth that can change the trajectory of your life forever. By choosing to trust God completely, you will unlock a peace that no earthly solution can provide. Stay with me until the end, because what God has prepared for you today might just be the turning point you've been waiting for. We live in a world that constantly pushes self-reliance. Society tells us that we must be strong, independent, and capable of handling every problem on our own. But this mindset often leads to isolation, exhaustion, and discouragement. Every day, we fight battles, emotional struggles, financial pressures, relationship conflicts, and professional setbacks. The weight of it all becomes unbearable, making true peace seem like an impossible dream. But why do we carry such heaviness? Why is inner calm so elusive? The answer lies in how we approach our struggles. Too often, we rely solely on our own strength, convinced that we must control every detail. But this only leaves us overwhelmed. God never designed us to bear the weight of life's burdens alone. This is why trust in Him is essential. Proverbs 3:5-6 offers profound wisdom. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your paths straight. This passage reminds us that our strength is limited, but God's is boundless. When we let go of the need to control everything and acknowledge Him as our guide, He steps in and leads us toward peace beyond our comprehension. However, surrendering control is not always easy. We've been conditioned to believe that success and peace come from working harder, doing more, and figuring things out on our own. But God's way is different. It's not based on our abilities but on His limitless power. Maybe you've prayed for help but felt like God was silent. Silence can feel discouraging, but it doesn't mean God is absent. Often, He uses stillness to deepen our faith, to teach us patience, and to prepare us for greater blessings. In those moments, He calls us to trust Him even more, to stop resisting, and to surrender fully to His perfect plan. Jesus gives us a powerful invitation in Matthew 11:28-30, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls." This is not just a comforting promise, it's an invitation to a transformed life. Jesus is calling us to lay our struggles at His feet and receive the kind of rest that only He can give. But what does it mean to surrender everything to God? It means recognizing that we were never meant to control everything and choosing instead to trust Him with our lives. This doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing, it means shifting our reliance from ourselves to God. When we do this, we start to see His hand working in ways we never imagined. Doors open, clarity comes, and peace replaces the turmoil. When we give our burdens to God, something shifts within us. Anxiety and fear lose their grip, and peace takes their place. Philippians 4:6-7 reminds us not to be anxious but to bring everything to God in prayer, and in return, His peace, far beyond human understanding, will guard our hearts and minds. One of the ways God brings peace is through stillness. We often fill our lives with noise, distractions, and endless activity, making it difficult to hear His voice. But God doesn't compete with noise, He speaks in whispers. In 1 Kings 19, we see how He revealed Himself to Elijah not in the powerful wind, earthquake, or fire, but in a gentle whisper. This teaches us that if we truly want to hear from God, we must be still, quiet our hearts, and listen. God also speaks through His Word. Psalm 119:105 tells us, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path." When we feel lost or confused, the Bible offers wisdom, direction, and strength. It is through Scripture that God reveals His heart and His plans for us. Whenever you feel uncertain, turn to His Word, it holds the answers you seek. Another way God speaks to us is through the people around us. Sometimes, He uses a friend's advice, a family member's encouragement, or even a conversation with a stranger to deliver His message to us. Proverbs 27:17 reminds us that as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. God strategically places people in our lives to strengthen and guide us. God also communicates through circumstances. When a door closes or a plan falls apart, it may not be a setback, it could be God redirecting us towards something greater. The Bible is full of examples of how He leads His people through detours to bring them into places of greater blessing. A clear sign that we are walking in God's will is peace. God never leads us into anxiety or chaos. Even in difficult moments, when we are following His guidance, there is an underlying sense of peace. As Galatians 5:22 says, peace is a fruit of the Spirit, a sign that we are aligned with His purpose. A perfect example of this peace is found in the story of Daniel. When he was thrown into the lion's den, he did not panic or despair. Instead, he remained calm, trusting that God would protect him. And God did. In the same way, no matter what challenges you face, God's peace can sustain you if you trust Him. But trusting in God isn't passive, it requires action. The Bible tells us that faith without works is dead. When God speaks, He calls us to respond with obedience. Maybe today, God is asking you to step out in faith, to let go of something that's holding you back, or to take a leap of trust even when you can't see the full picture. Take inspiration from Noah. God told him to build an ark when there was no sign of rain. Despite doubt and criticism from those around him, Noah obeyed. His faith led to the salvation of his family and the fulfillment of God's plan. In the same way, your obedience, even in uncertainty, can lead to blessings beyond what you can imagine. Perhaps you are waiting for an answer to prayer and struggling with doubt. But remember, God's timing is always perfect. Isaiah 40:31 tells us that those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength. Waiting is not wasted time, it is God's way of preparing us for something greater. If you are carrying fear, anxiety, or uncertainty today, know that God is calling you to lay it all down at His feet. 2 Timothy 1:7 reassures us that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and self-discipline. Let go of fear and embrace faith. No matter how impossible your situation seems, God is bigger. Right now, I invite you to take that step. Choose to surrender everything to God and trust that He is in control. If this message has touched your heart, I encourage you to share it with someone who needs it. This is just the beginning of what God has planned for you. With God by your side, nothing is impossible. No storm is too strong, no burden too heavy, His peace is waiting for you. Will you receive it today?